Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 60 gingerbread DIYs from the Crafty Vault. Nothing says Christmas like a gingerbread, and I have a little bit of everything in today's video. For the first one, I'm going to grab a couple of houses from the toy section at the Dollar Tree. I just try to make sure that they're the same style. They come in different houses. This one is super cute. I thought this one would make a really good gingerbread house. Now, if you've never worked with these little houses before, they do kind of hook together, so you can make like a little town out of them. You just pop them together. You can see the little hooks, and you can put them together and make an entire house. So that is what I did. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pop out all of the plastic windows all over the house because I thought it would be easier to paint those. If they were separated, I won't have to go around all those crazy lines. And they're just in there with little plastic tabs. Super easy to just pop out. I'm just using my Cricut weeder to pop all those out. And there's actually quite a few windows on here because they're on the sides, 2 levels, front and back. Now, once I got all of those out, we can start to put this together. As you can see, there's a gap on the top. To get around that, I always just put a bead of hot glue up there and pinch it together. That's going to seal it up and prevent there from being just a huge hole in the top of the house. That doesn't really make sense. Now, I wanted something the color of a gingerbread house. And so this is the color that I'm using. It is hazelnut. I thought it really reminded me of a gingerbread house color. And then I'm just using a brush just because there's so much texture and everything on that house. I want to make sure I get in all the little grooves. And I'm just going to go over the entire little plastic toy house with that to give the look of gingerbread. You know, gingerbread houses can be like real ones, can be a real challenge. I think making the faux gingerbread houses was super fun and I can use them every year. And you know what? Nobody really ever eats the gingerbread houses anyway because they all just sit out and get stale, right? So I had left the door on mine and then I'm just going all over, but I think removing the windows is definitely the way to go. Need a little bit more paint. Luckily, I had another bottle. And again, this was a hazelnut color. I really think it looks like the gingerbread color. What do you think? And finish painting this out. These also work really well to spray paint if you have like the right color. And then to do the windows, I'm making my own chalk paint and I do that with a little calcium carbonate. I buy that on Amazon. You mix it with acrylic paint and a little water. I'll be sure to include the recipe in the description below. I found on a blog and I always use that when I need chalk paint. And I'm just using a little makeup sponge and using that DIY white chalk paint to go all over the windows. I wanted it to be chalk paint so I could get a little bit better coverage because I'm going over those bright colors on the plastic windows and stuff like that. And I thought I would get a little bit further with that. And it's just cheaper than buying chalk paint, I think. And then once I got my gingerbread house dry, I did go over it just here and there to make sure that there was no places that I didn't miss. Again, trying to cover up like lots of bright colors and stuff like that. I want it to all look like gingerbread. And that's, you can see about how far one coat of the chalk paint got me on the windows. I definitely had to go back and give them a second coat. Now that they're painted white, I can just pop them back in. Again, they have the little plastic tabs on there. I was just trying to pop them in with as little damage as possible. I might have to touch up my paint though on my little gingerbread house. It's just a matter of getting like the little plastic tabs in there. But as you can see, I was kind of causing a little bit of damage putting them back in there. I don't know if I didn't let my paint get dry enough on those, but I'm trying to be as careful as I can not to touch them, but I'm probably gonna have to go back and touch these up a little bit. Again, there was a lot of windows on this, but I absolutely love these little toy houses. I think they're so cute. Okay, so we've about got all the windows on and I just touched up the few that I messed up. Now I kind of want it to look like there's snow on the roof of our gingerbread house. So I'm using that same white chalk paint and going over the roof. I think that really brings out the texture of all the shingles and everything on there and looks really cute. We'll make it extra snowy here on the very top, the way that like snow like gathers on a roof. Otherwise, the rest of it I'm just kind of distressing to kind of bring out that texture, to kind of make it look like, a dusting of snow all over. And I'm not a fan of snow, but we can pretend here, right? This is our only version of snow that we get in the town I live in. And then I'm going to kind of do snow everywhere. So I just switched to a smaller brush and I'm just distressing all the little details of the little toy house and going over the door as well. It's going to bring out that great texture and the details there and kind of just make everything look a little bit snowy. Now for the base, I like to use these little bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree for bases with these. I've used these little toy houses to make haunted houses, and the little bamboo cutting boards worked perfectly. So I'm just using that DIY white chalk paint to paint all over our little bamboo cutting board to make it look like there is snow on the ground before we go and attach our little gingerbread house to it. I did have to go in there with a couple of coats to cover up that wood, but I thought it needed a foundation, so I'm just hot gluing the little house down. That way we can decorate around it like you would decorate a little gingerbread house. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with some red paint and paint our little door like a nice Christmas red. That's why I had painted it white before, so it'd be easier to paint it red. And then for candy, I'm actually using the colored wood beads from the Dollar Tree. And I just picked out all of the red and green ones. Don't they look like candy? And then for snow dripping off the side of the house and little icicles, I decided to use some of this caulk from the Dollar Tree. And I'm also doing it around the base of the house, any of the roof line where I can kind of have like some snow or like icicles like hanging over the edge, kind of using it like frosting, just like you would a little bag of white frosting. It works great for that. Now for the little walkway, I wanted to do like little peppermint candy, and so I went ahead and glued those all on with the spackling. And then for more candy, I'm using more of the little wood beads from the Dollar Tree. I think those work great. I'm going to top them off with a little faux snow on the top of those so you can't really see the hole in the top of the beads. And then I decided to go in and kind of Mod Podge to seal my little candy pieces on there. And that was kind of a disaster. So I decided, okay, no real candy on my gingerbread house. That probably wasn't a good idea anyway. So what else could we use to kind of make it look like candy? And I decided to use buttons. I picked up one of these little button plastic containers from Dollar Tree, and I'm just picking out all of my red and green colors that I could kind of make look like candy. And we're just going to glue those down. And using that caulk mastic from Dollar Tree again, kind of just alternating red and green. Now, at this point, they still, super look like buttons, but I'm going to kind of disguise the top of them with some of these little plastic stickers from the Dollar Tree, little circles. I can cover up the little holes in the buttons. And then I'm just going to go in with some more of that caulk mastic from Dollar Tree and use some more of the little wooden beads from the Dollar Tree. This is just like a multicolored pack. It's got all different colors in there, but I'm just picking out the red and the green ones. They come in different sizes as well. And then just kind of decorating the roof line with this to make it look like candy. I think they do a really good job of looking like candy. And so again, I'm just using hot glue. I think that's going to be hold a little bit better. And then just alternate red and green all the way down. Now, if you weren't lucky enough to find any red and green, you probably could just paint them yourself. It wouldn't be too hard, but I love the way these are painted. They are nice and bright. Next up, I just put a thin coat of school glue all over the base, and I have some of this faux snow that I picked up at the Target dollar spot, and I just kind of sprinkled that around for a little bit of snow. There's so many different options you could use for that. You could use glitter. You could use white sand even from Dollar Tree would work. And then I did some more of those green wood beads all along the sides of the houses to kind of do like little bushes, topping them with snow as well. This side, I didn't have enough green, so I kind of alternated some red ones in there too. Kind of gave me the same effect. And put little snow tops on top of those as well, which looks great and also covers up the holes in them. I followed that up with a little green marker to draw a little Christmas wreath on the front door and a little green garland around the front door as well. Super easy to do with just like a little green Sharpie. Now, I think it's really cute, but I thought maybe it might need some gingerbread men. So I picked up these little tiny wooden gingerbread men from Dollar Tree, and we're going to paint them with that same hazelnut color all over to make little gingerbread people that we can decorate our little gingerbread house with. I'm just going to draw a face on here with a Sharpie and some buttons down the front of it. Nothing too crazy. For the other one, I decided to try my white paint pen, and I thought that looked more like frosting. So that's what I'm going to use to draw the little squiggles on the arms and the legs and the little face. I think that looks better. And then I'm just going to hot glue those onto the little base, the cutting board there, like there's little gingerbread people standing in front of the little gingerbread house. And they're very lightweight, so they're pretty easy to stand up. Just a little bit of hot glue there, and just make sure you let it dry. And that's it. Here is our little faux gingerbread house made out of little doll houses from the Dollar Tree. I think it turned out so cute. It looks almost good enough to eat. One of the great things about this gingerbread house is that you can use it year after year. And, it would be a fun project with little ones too, to get them excited for Christmas, and a great memory to keep. That's something that they made when they were younger. If you're enjoying today's gingerbread crafting marathon, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you would hype this video. Okay, for the next gingerbread house, we're going to take 2 of the little gingerbread house signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make an actual 3D house using some of their little wood panels for the sides and the top of the house. So my plan here is to kind of just cut these down to size to form like little walls. And so I cut 2 of the little panels down to the actual height of the side of the house, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue those on just with hot glue. It's a very lightweight wood, so I think it's going to stay together pretty well. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. So that's going to be like the sides of the house, and then one of these will be the front, one of them will be the back. So I'm going to hot glue the back on by doing hot glue on each edge of it and just sitting the structure like right on top, letting that hot glue set up. I like to use the Gorilla Glue hot glue. I find it's really strong and works for projects like this. Now 2 more of those wood panels for the roof. I just had to trim mine down very slightly to get it to fit, but pretty much a perfect fit since we did the same width for the sides. And I just put hot glue right on top to glue those in because I'm going to cover that area with something to represent snow. So you're not going to be able to see that anyway. And then I hot glued the 2 boards together at the very top of the roof as well. Just gluing that all together till we have a little gingerbread house. Now I'm going to use that same hazelnut color, and we're going to go all over this little house and paint this to look like gingerbread. Now you can see it's got like a little snowy panel that sticks out. It's got windows that stick out, and it's even got like little etched in like Christmas lights and stuff like that. So you can probably see through your paint depending on how thin it is to help you decorate your little gingerbread house. And I'm just going over, the front and the back, making sure I switched to a brush here to kind of get in like, between the windows and stuff like that, so I don't have any of that natural wood showing through. And then of course, both the sides. Now for the roof, I'm gonna use a Dollar Tree white kitchen towel here for the snow. I thought this looked like fluffy snow, right? So I'm using one of those wood panels as a reference for how wide I need to make a strip of that. And I just cut the little white towel down to the perfect size here to lay across the rooftop. And I thought this would be a fun way to represent like a fluffy snow and really easy too. So I cut it down to make sure it's the right length, and then we can just hot glue the towel to the top of the gingerbread house to represent the snow. I think that was a really fun little hack. It worked really well, and I didn't have to worry about painting or decorating the top of that. But I am going to decorate it more to make it look like a gingerbread house, of course. Now for the little panels that stick out on the front, I just go in there with some white chalk paint, and I'm also going over the windows too. It's not that big of a deal if I do get it on the house because it kind of just looks like snow, right? So then I'm also going to do that on the very top rim of the house to kind of make that look like snow too, make that blend in with our little snowy roof. Then I'm just going to go in and do the same exact thing on the other side. This made a really large gingerbread house decoration, and I think it was so fun. And this is a fun idea if you want to get and if you have any littles that want to like to craft, get them involved. They can help you decorate your house. I could see my little lights through, so I just took a little red paint pen and painted on little Christmas lights. And also like a little bow here for the roof of the door. You can also kind of see the doorway with a little etching that was through that. So I just kind of traced that out with a bright red paint pen too. Then I'm going to go in with a green paint pen and paint the little Christmas wreath on the front of the house. And the other half of our little Christmas lights, I'm going to paint them green as well. I can also use that to paint the little Christmas trees and bushes here, like in front of the house. And that's why, you can still kind of see those details through enough to be able to decorate it. There was also like a crossbar here for like the roof line. And there was also these like little side panels or corners of the house. And I'm going to paint them white too to go with like that snowy feel of the house and do a little dusting of snow on the ground as well. Now to decorate the top, I always like to do like red and green candy on the top of my gingerbread houses. So we're going to represent that with wood beads from the Dollar Tree. This time I'm using the little square ones, the red and green ones, but also a few of the round ones that I had left over. Just whatever I could find that was red or green because I really think they look like candy. And then I'm going to kind of do like a crisscross pattern like you would do with frosting, but I did it with like a red paint pen and crisscross on that towel that we used for the snowy top to give it that fun design for a gingerbread house. And then I can go in and do candies where each of the lines come together. I like to decorate gingerbread houses like that. I think that's super cute. And I just go in and kind of alternating red and green, gluing those little wood beads on instead of candy. And I really recommend using the wood beads instead of real candy because now you can store it. You're not going to have to worry about bugs or anything like that, or any of it kind of breaking off. And this is how it turned out. I did the same thing on the other side. I have a little gingerbread house. I love all the texture and the details on this. I think it's so cute. And I just displayed mine on one of those little mop heads from the Dollar Tree to look like snow. And I think this is another fun option for a gingerbread house. Definitely a larger option, so it's going to make more of an impact. And you could use this with any of your Christmas decor. I really enjoyed putting that one together for you. Okay, I promised you guys a gingerbread tier tray. So this is a really fun red and white Christmas themed tier tray, but mostly all gingerbread men. The first thing I want to do is to make just a little tiny pennant banner. I think that's really cute on a tier tray. And I'm just going to use some of this red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree and some of these little Santa Claus stickers. I kind of wanted to do gingerbread like I did on my gingerbread coffee bar, but the gingerbread were a little bit browner than the ones I'm using today. So I really wanted to do a lot of red and white for this tier tray. So I chose Santa Claus. So I'm just going to choose 3 of them. I always like to do an odd number, and I'm just going to attach them with hot glue to the ribbon. I'm just going to string this along the top of my top tier on my 2-tier tray in my kitchen. And normally I use more like a string and less like a ribbon like this.
but I think we're going to be able to make it work. So I just string it like that. I just use a dot of hot glue on each end of the ribbon to attach it to the first tier. And so this is the tier tray that we're decorating today. And let's get started decorating the top tier. I've got lots of fun ideas for things I found at the Dollar Tree. Now, these are little Christmas trees. They come 3-dep package, and they have little candies on the bottom. They have different colors of these. I liked these because they had like the red and white candy on the bottom. Looks really traditionally Christmas. Now, I didn't really, however, like that they're pink because I really wanted to do red and white. So I'd much prefer that these were red. So I am just going to paint them with some acrylic paint. Now, I've painted these bottle brush trees before and they're really easy to spray paint, but I did not have any red spray paint. So I'm just using a brush and some acrylic, and this was messy. Like at the end, I was covered in little dots of red paint. So be careful if you're going to paint yours, but it turned out really cute and it's just super easy. So I think since there was 3 in a package, I'm going to go ahead and use all 3 of them to decorate our tier tray today. I want to do like lots of little like gingerbread men, lots of like candy and cookies and cupcakes, that kind of a theme. And so I think that'll be really fun for my kitchen counter for Christmas. And it's going to go great with my gingerbread coffee bar that I did a video on. That turned out really fun. So here we are. We have 3 little red bottle brush Christmas trees with the little candy bottoms. Super cute. And I'm just going to put 1 here on the top and maybe save the other 2 for the bottom tier. Now, this isn't from the Dollar Tree. It's actually from Target, but it is a gingerbread house mug, and I thought it was so cute. I had to have it. I love decorating with mugs. And so it was $5 at Target back in their kitchen department. And then I found this adorable little gingerbread man at Dollar Tree. He is so cute. I thought about like kind of adding to like the icing around his face, but I didn't really have any like puffy paint or anything like that. But you could totally add to yours, but he's honestly really cute, and the scarf is really cute too. So I thought we could just have him like peeking out of the top of this gingerbread house. I think that's a really cute little surprise, and I needed something to put in there anyway. So I think this is going to be nice and tall. I think we're going to sit this one on the top and maybe towards the back so it can kind of peek out like that. Kind of peek out around the side of the pole. I love this white tier tray. I actually got this on Amazon, and you can find it in my Amazon shop below. It's a really cute one. Now check out these window decals I got at the Dollar Tree. I saw these and I said, oh my gosh, these are perfect for a gingerbread themed tier tray. So there's like a traditional like window decal, and then there's these big like puffy ones. Totally 2 different kinds, but they're both in the same package. So I thought we would decorate with the puffy ones first. Now this is just a Dollar Tree sign. It is a wood sign that's got another little sign glued to the front. And I kind of want to make the sign that's glued to the front look like a cookie sheet. So I picked up some of this silver glittery Cricut vinyl from the Dollar Tree. And I just want to cover like that sign there on the front in that to kind of make it look like a cookie sheet. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm just going to kind of crease it like that so I'll know where to cut. Does not have to be perfect. And I kind of wanted silver instead of like the glittery, but that's okay. It's Christmas. We can have some fun here. And it still definitely gives me that effect like it is metal. So I'm just going to try to get this lined up on here and just smooth that out. And I was very happy that it was thick enough to cover up the writing on there. I didn't have to paint it or anything. Now, I did want to do something around the edges to make it look like a cookie sheet, like ridges around the edges, but I couldn't think of anything to put on there, and so you'll see what I do here in a minute. But I didn't really like the wood frame, and so I'm just going to give it a quick coat of red just to bring out some more color on this sign, since I'm wanting to do lots of red, lots of white. And so that was just really easy. Just go around the edges with a small brush. And now this was my solution for edges around the sides. I just decided to use hot glue that I can paint. Honestly, you can see through it. You probably wouldn't even need to paint it, but I did. So my only problem was trying to get straight lines on there. I did go over it a couple times, but I don't know, maybe like some kind of rope or wire might have given me straighter lines, but that's okay. It's a homemade project. It doesn't have to look perfect. And then I'm going to use some silver acrylic paint just to kind of touch that up and give me the edges of my cookie sheet. Now my plan is to put that little gingerbread man that you see there on the cookie sheet. And I think that's going to look really cute. Now, the only problem with that is that now with the ridges on there on the side, it doesn't totally fit, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. I thought maybe putting it on there like a little bit to the side would be super cute. But since I have those ridges on the side, maybe I should have left those off. I can just fill in the difference with some hot glue. And I'm just going to do that right where it's going to attach to the cookie sheet on our little sign. And that is all there is to this cute little gingerbread man on a cookie sheet sign for our Christmas tier tray. I think this is really fun. It's nice and tall too, so I think this is going to be really good here on the back, on the other side of the little mug and the stuffed animal. Okay, next DIY. I'm going to use one of these little white, like ceramic signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to use the back. I just removed the tag off the back of it, and then we're going to use another one of those stickers. They're more like stickers than wall decals because they're super sticky, and I'm going to use the gingerbread house, and it's the perfect size for this sign. And I like that the sign is like nice white and shiny. I think it's going to go great with all like the frosting and stuff we're going to do on this tier tray. So I'm just going to line up that little sticker and just press it down. Couldn't be any easier than that. Now I did think it was a little like maybe too white. And so I wanted to bring in a little bit of color. So I'm going to use this red and white gingham. It's a little different than the one that I used on the little pennant banner at the beginning. This one I think is with the Christmas stuff. I've got it there recently at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to glue it to the bottom and wrap it around just to kind of frame it out, just because I needed a little bit more color on this DIY. And easy peasy, we have a little gingerbread house sign for the tier tray. It's the perfect size, and I'm not worried about the writing on the back. You're not going to be able to see it. This tier tray sits on my kitchen counter, so it's kind of a One Direction tier tray. But it's going to fit perfectly right here on top in front of the pole. I think that looks really cute. You can still kind of see the taller items behind it peeking out around the edges. Now, this is a Christmas ornament that I got at Target, and it's just a little fuzzy hot cocoa. And I thought it would be a nice touch up here because it is small. I had just taken the hanger off of it. It does have some writing on it, but I don't really want you to be able to see that. So I'm just going to turn it over on this way so you can't see the writing. And it's just going to be like a little ornament of hot cocoa, another bright red in there. And then I thought we need to make some Christmas cookies. So I'm going to use some of these Christmas trees and stars shapes from, they're wood shapes from the Dollar Tree. They don't have a lot of cutouts in them, so I thought they would be a perfect like stencil or something that we could use to make some fake Christmas cookies. And this is the adhesive cork from the Dollar Tree, and I thought it would be the perfect material to make these out of. So I'm just going to line up a star to the back. It's got like this paper backing on the adhesive cork, and just using a pen to kind of draw out the shape. And then I'm just going to cut it out. Now my first plan was to cut these out and then stick them to the wood shapes and then decorate from there. I did have a little issue after I cutting them out and putting them on the wood. You could still see like some of the edges of wood around there. It was really hard to get it on there just perfect. And so I'll show you here what I mean. It just wasn't great. So I decided what was better than trying to stick it to that would just be to stick it like back to back with the actual cork. That way I can cut the shape out and we can get a perfect little cookie. So that's what I did. This one I actually stuck to that paper backing. The rest of them I kind of do sticky to sticky on the back of them. But that's our first cookie. We have a little star Christmas cookie and now a Christmas tree. Now this one, I do draw the star on the top. I do find like later it does become a little bit too intricate, so I do lose the star. But I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that one out as well. I thought we could do like a star sugar cookie, a Christmas tree, Christmas cookie, and then maybe some chocolate chip cookies. So once I got the first one cut out, I am just going to peel and stick that on both of them and stick them to each other. That way I can cut out the back of it and get a perfect fit. And this is when I decided to lose the star at the top. So it was just a little bit too much. But you could also do like, you know, they have the Santa Claus wood ones. You can use any of those. They'd make a great template for cookies. So there's our two little cookies. I think they're a great texture with that cork to be a cookie. And then I wanted just to look for something round that I could use to make some chocolate chip cookies. So I just had like a little jar of wood filler or something. And I'm just going to draw around that and cut out a circle. And with a chocolate chip cookie, you're not looking for a perfect circle. And then laying it on there and cutting out the back. Now, I want to decorate the star and the tree like with icing and sugar, but I want this one to be a chocolate chip cookie. So I'm just using a brown paint pen and just making some like, not really circles, like little shapes that kind of look like chocolate chips all over. Okay, now on the sugar cookies, I thought I need something that's going to look like icing. And so I thought some of this caulk mastic from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. So I'm going to open a new bottle of that. These are great because they have the built-in applicator. You don't have to worry about, you know, filling up baggies and different things. It's got everything you need on there. And I'm just going to draw a star on there to get started, leaving some of that cork around the edges to be exposed as a cookie. And then once I get it outlined, I'm just going to fill it in. And don't worry, it doesn't have to look perfect. I want it to look like a homemade cookie. So we are not master cookie decorators. So this is going to look just like a cookie that we would make. And so I leave it just like that. And I'm going to do the same exact thing here on the Christmas tree. I'm just going to outline the Christmas tree, leaving a border around, and then filling it in. I really like working with that material. I think it's just really user-friendly. Now, I was trying to think of something we could use for little like candy decorations for the sugar cookie. And I thought some of these little circle stickers from the Dollar Tree would be perfect, but the colors were not. But you can always paint them. So I just painted a row red, and we're just going to have like these little red candy buttons that we can decorate our star and Christmas tree with. So I'm just going to kind of spread those out on the star. And we're also going to use them as like little ornaments to decorate the Christmas tree. Just like one extra on each row to make it a little bit wider. Super easy little candies for our fake cookies. I think they're looking really cute. They actually look really real. Now, I was trying to think of something I could use for sugar, and this white sand from the Dollar Tree actually has a very shininess to it that I think is going to look like sugar. And so I just sprinkled some on that while it was still wet. And hopefully that will stick down into the icing and we can have little sugar cookies. And it's okay if some gets on the cork part too. Now, to make sure that it doesn't all fall off the minute I try to stand them up, I'm also going to spray on some adhesive from the Dollar Tree just to kind of seal that to our cookies. And basically that's it on our little sugar cookies. I think they turned out really fun. I'm going to go ahead and dry them real quick so that that glue dries. And this is what we're left with. I love the texture on there. I think it really looks like little frosted Christmas cookies with decorations on there, and they even have a little faux sugar. They look good enough to eat. So I'm going to decorate with those and the little chocolate chip cookie. Now, when I went to decorate with the chocolate chip cookies, I thought I really need 2 chocolate chip cookies, and I still had some adhesive cork left over, so I'm just going to cut out another back-to-back circle and then just paint some chocolate chips on there. These were just so easy to make, and I love them for the tier tray. They're so whimsical and fun. They really add to the Christmas cookies touch that I was going for. So just painting those on again like I did before, little chocolate chips all over. And we have 2 cookies to display on our tier tray next to our cocoa. So I'm going to do the star little sugar cookie over here, just kind of standing up. That way it doesn't really block a lot of the stuff that's behind it. And then I'm going to do like the little chocolate chip cookies over here in front of the cocoa. I think those go really well together. Now we're going to work on the bottom tier, and I'm always worried that you can't see some of the things in the back. And so I'm going to use some of these white foam blocks that I got at the Dollar Tree. They're a nice size and they're white, so they're going to blend in well with my white tier tray and not really stick out very much. But, you know, any kind of blocks work for this. I just need something to like raise up the items that I'm going to put in the back. And then remember these trees? I still had 2 of the bottle brush trees that we painted, and I'm going to use those down here on the second tier as well. Maybe 1 on each side. Now, I really wanted to do like cupcakes, so I found some really cute little squishy toys from the Dollar Tree that I thought we could decorate for our gingerbread tier tray. This one's really cute, but the colors were just not very Christmassy to me. So I thought we could change that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take white acrylic paint, and we're going to paint all over. We're going to paint like the frosting on the top of the cupcake and what's dripping over the sides. And these are little squishy toys that I found in the toy department at Dollar Tree. And I love them. I think they're so cute, and they're so much easier than having to make them from scratch. So I went over all of it with white, and now I'm just going to do like the cupcake part. We're going to have like a red cake. And so I just use red acrylic paint, and I had to kind of switch to a tiny brush so I could go in between all the little drips of frosting that are coming over the sides, and just kind of take my time and paint all the way around there. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off and paint the bottom red as well. So the colors are looking way more Christmassy, and they match a lot better for our tier tray. Now I wanted to decorate this one as well with some candy sprinkles. So again, I'm going to paint some of these little dots from the Dollar Tree, a bright red. And we're going to use those to decorate with. Now be careful, I used maybe a little bit too much paint on this one. So when you peel the stickers off after you paint them, sometimes you have to get rid of any paint that's trying to stick over the edges, but not too bad. And I'm just going to stick these, since they're stickers, all over the frosting of our little cupcake in that little swirl pattern that it has there. And I think this is going to look really sweet and Christmassy. Now, I think that's pretty good. The only thing I don't really like about it now is that the acrylic paint kind of dried a little flat, not real shiny like frosting would be. And so to fix that, I'm going to use some glossy Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to do a thin coat of the glossy Mod Podge all over my frosting, just to make it shine. And it definitely did the trick. So I'm just going to dry that, and this is our final product. We have a little red and white Christmas cupcake. And I'm going to put it up on top of one of those little foam blocks in the back so that we can still see it. kind of arrange it how I like. And I think that looks really fun for Christmas. Now, this is another one that I found, another squishy toy from the Dollar Tree. And this one is like a cupcake with frosting and sprinkles and a red cherry. All of it's kind of Christmassy except for the pink like cupcake wrapper. I thought maybe we could paint that and kind of make that look a little bit more in line for Christmas and to match our tier tray. So again, I'm just using bright red acrylic paint and a foam brush, and we're just going to paint this. You do have to kind of go in the ridges of the little cupcake liner. I don't really mind that it has a face on there. I'll probably turn that around towards the back. Doesn't really bother me. I just wanted to add a little bit more red to this one. Otherwise, I think it's going to go really cute with all the cookies and candy on this tier tray. So that's how that one looks. And I really liked how the gloss Mod Podge worked for the first one. So I thought I would go over this too and make like it look nice and shiny like I did on the first one. So just all over with a coat of that and dry it. I was really impressed by these little foam toys from the Dollar Tree, how easy they were to paint. And this one's a little taller, but I'm still going to put it up on one of those foam blocks here in the back because I really want them to have some height. I kind of want them to peek out among all the other gingerbread decorations we're going to do today. And speaking of gingerbread man, these were so cute. I had to pick up another one. These are the little stuffed animals from the Dollar Tree, and they did a really good job on it. Like its arms and legs are not too long. It's super cute. The scarf is cute. I really don't think I need to do anything to him. I'm going to kind of stand him here so he'll be on the other side of the tier tray from the one that's on the top and kind of lean him up against the pole there. And I think he's going to be a fun little surprise down there. Now, I wanted to do another DIY with those window decals, and so I'm going to use one of these little decorative white plates from the Dollar Tree. They have a stand. I think these are so cute. I used one for my lobster trap tier tray that I made, and I put a lobster on it. That was really fun. And so I'm just going to use a little gingerbread man and put like a little gingerbread man on my plate, like I'm going to eat it. So I kind of just do it a little bit to the side like that and just stick it to the plate. Then I was thinking it was looking a little too white and boring and I really needed more pops of red. And so what I'm going to do is paint like the border of the plate red. To start off, I just used a red paint pen to kind of feel around where the plate goes out to kind of give me that perfect circle so I'll know where to stop painting. And then I'm just going to go in with red acrylic and a small brush, and we're just going to paint all the way around. And again, it's a handmade project. Does not have to be perfect. I'm not really going around the edges of the plate or anything like that, but I think this really added a lot of color to the little plate. And, you know, plates often have a different color, you know, that part of the plate, the ridge around the edges. And I do have to touch it up a little bit because, you know, red kind of can dry some, a little streaky. And then it was a little flat color and I kind of wanted to make it glossy too. And I still need to seal down the little window decal to the plate. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing with glossy Mod Podge. I do like how it made like the edges of it glossier, but it really made the whole plate really glossy. You'll see here in a minute. It's really shiny. So it might have been a little too glossy for the gingerbread man, but we're going to make it work. And this is how he turned out, our super shiny gingerbread plate. And this is a perfect size for a tier tray. And it's great that it has a little stand on it. We're going to put it right here. That way you can kind of see like the cupcake sticking out behind it. And it really gave us a nice pop of red. I'm really glad I decided to add a little color to that. Now, I found this little baking dish at the Dollar Tree. It says Baking Spirits Bright, and I thought that would be really cute too. They also have one that's Gingerbread Man, and I used that one on my coffee bar, so I didn't want to do the same one, so I chose this one. And then I got these little cookie cutters at the Dollar Tree. You actually got 6 in a package, and there is a Gingerbread Man one. And so I thought I would just pile some Christmas cookie cutters in this little baking dish. That'd be fun. And it's not real large, so I'm only going to use the red ones. And I'm going to kind of like sit it where like the gingerbread man one's on top. And that's going to kind of make it go with our gingerbread and our baking theme today. We're going to sit this over on the side of our little stuffed gingerbread man. And it fits really nicely. These are great sizes for tier trays. And I've saw a lot of people like with the loaf pans, like actually baking in them and giving them out as Christmas presents, which is a great idea. I also found this little light up gingerbread house at the Dollar Tree. I used one of these on my gingerbread coffee bar and I loved it. It's so much easier than making one. And so I just bought one of those as well. Super cute, and it's a perfect size for a tier tray. So we're going to use this one as is. And it's not too tall, so I think I can kind of put it over here. And you can still see some of the cute things we have behind it. Now, this is another one of the little squishy cupcakes that I found at the Dollar Tree. I bought all these and I wanted to get more and I couldn't really find more. So you might have to be lucky to find the squishy cupcakes, but you can always make them if you can't find them, if you really want to add a lot of cupcakes to your DIYs. But the colors on this were all wrong. So I'm just going to go over that bright blue cupcake liner with some red acrylic paint. And you can still see the blue through it and the little polka dots. So it did require 2 coats of red to cover all that. But I really want to make this like red and white like I made all the other things on this tier tray to really give me that red and white Christmas theme. Now, at first, I was just going to paint this part of it white. It was hot pink on top of my cupcake. And then I just decided to paint the cupcake white. So I just went from there and just started painting all of it white. Like it has like maybe some white frosting all over it instead of actually just seeing the cake. And then I just wanted this to be a different color. So I already have that white background. So I'm just going to use that red acrylic that we used on the cupcake liner and paint the little topping there in bright red. I think it's really cute. I don't think it really needs much more decorations, but I thought I could break up the red a little bit. So I'm just going to paint some of those little plastic buttons, stickers, I guess, from the Dollar Tree white. That way they'll contrast against the red and just kind of stick them on the top just for a little fun. And again, I'm going to use some of this Mod Podge, the glossy Mod Podge, and go all over to make our frosting look nice and shiny. I may have used a little bit too much on this one, but that's okay. And here's our little cupcake. This one's a lot smaller than those first 2 that we did. And so this is going to be great for like the front part of the tier tray because it doesn't have a lot of height. Perfect. Right there. Okay, and remember we still had some Christmas cookies left over from the top. We actually have the little Christmas tree one. And so I'm just going to kind of stick it here in front of that little cupcake we just painted. They kind of stand up on their own and lean against, and it looks really cute. Now, this is actually from the Dollar Spot at Target. It is a tier tray starter kit, and I used the little red Santa gnome and another DIY, but I thought this little cookie sheet with chocolate chip cookies and the little cutting board would be perfect for this tier tray. I chose not to do the hot cocoa just because it had a black frame. But it would be cute too if you wanted to like paint the frame like maybe red. But I thought it was too black. So I'm going to use these 2. The little cutting board says, I just want to bake cookies and drink hot cocoa. And it's kind of small, so I'm going to have the little gingerbread man hold it like that. Like that's what he's saying. And then we can put maybe the little cookie sheet filled with chocolate chip cookies over here, lean it up against our little gingerbread house. It's nice and small, so it kind of goes to scale there. And that's it. I think we have this little gingerbread themed tier tray complete. I love how it turned out. All of the fun traditional details. We've got the gingerbread men, the gingerbread houses. I love the faux cookies and big fan of those mugs with a little gingerbread man sticking out there. And then down here on the bottom tier, I love the idea of like the little baking dish with the cookie cutters and all the little fun details. That little sign is so cute from Target. And I love the little plate with the little gingerbread man on there. I think that is so cute. And the little gingerbread house that lights up. So many fun details. And I absolutely adore the little cupcakes, those little squishy toys from Dollar Tree. But I think it all came together nicely. And it's one of my favorite Christmas tier trays that I've ever made here on my channel. I just love gingerbread men, and I'm going to have to do lots more gingerbread crafting, I think, this year. Okay, for the next set, I found two of these like little light up gingerbread houses and one of the larger gingerbread light up houses at the Dollar Tree. And I thought we would put them together and make like a little gingerbread city, right? So I'm just using a makeup sponge. It's the easiest way I have found to paint these like little Dollar Tree items like this. And I'm using that hazelnut color, and I'm gonna paint the front of every single one of our gingerbread houses. The great thing about this is the details are all cut out to make it light up. And so it kind of made it a little bit easier to decorate. But again, like with the other one, you can see the etching through, so it helps you decorate them. I'm going to use my white paint pen to go over the roof line of all of our little gingerbread houses and paint them white so it looks like snow. I didn't think my white paint pen was doing a very good job, so I switched it up to some white acrylic to kind of cover up that brown color underneath, and I think that looks a lot whiter and snowier. Now for the details, I'm going to use my paint pen. So again, I'm doing like little red details for the lights and the doors. They're like exactly the same thing, but they're like different sizes, these little light up houses. But I'm just going to go in there with green too and, you know, paint the wreath, the Christmas lights on. I did kind of mess up the paint on this larger one, but I was able to fix it. I can also use like a red paint pen to go in and paint the little candy canes in front of the gingerbread house. Super easy. It's just going to be like red and cut out instead of red and white. And then I'm going to do the sides of those and like a little snow on the bottom like we did before. Again, my white paint pen was not playing nice, but we got it to work here. I switched out to my Sharpie one. That one worked way better. I'm also going to outline all of the windows, make them look kind of snowy too, just by doing white. And with the snow effect, you don't have to be too clean with your painting or anything like that because you want it to look slightly imperfect to make it look like snow. And I just paint a little green garland across the front, and these are ready to go. These are the little mop heads from the Dollar Tree that I used to make look like snow. I think they make a really good snow. If you leave them all together in one piece, it's a lot less mess than using like faux snow, scattering it around. And I really kind of like the little fluffy effect it gives. And you can display these all together. We're going to make our own little Christmas village out of gingerbread houses. And I think it's so cute because they all light up. I'm going to decorate my entire cupboard in my kitchen for Christmas. So of course I wanted to do gingerbread. They're my favorite. So I'm going to start off with just a Dollar Tree wood slice sign. This one was kind of broken anyway, and I don't really need the hanger on it, so I'm just going to remove that. I like the fact that it's got the bark on there. I think it looks nice and rustic. So I'm just going to use my Cricut and cut down an SVG file, and I will share the SVG file on my Google Drive for you in the description below this video if you want to recreate. I just made it all one color and I cut it out on red. I have a couple candy canes, and then it's going to say Candy Cane Forest. And I thought that would look really cute against the rustic wood sign. I'm going to hang that in the back of my cupboard because for the top shelf of my cupboard, I want it to look like a candy cane forest with gingerbread men walking through it. So it turned out really cute. It's one of my favorite things we're going to do today. Not only am I decorating my entire cupboard for Christmas with gingerbread men and gingerbread houses, I'm also going to be doing my coffee bar in gingerbread today as well. So lots of DIYs and finds for you today. I have found so many great things this year. So I got that on my transfer paper, and basically all I have to do now is just put that on my wood slice. I think that looks so good
fits on there perfectly. I scrape it on there and remove it. And I'm using the Cricut Smart Vinyl with my new Joy Extra, and that is a really nice vinyl. It was really easy to work with. And I'm just going to use some sticky foam here for the back so I can kind of just temporarily tag that to the back of my cupboard right about here. I think you'll still be able to see that above the trees we're going to line the forest with. Now our first tree is kind of big. I got this at Dollar Tree Plus. It was $5, and look how fluffy and flocked this Christmas tree is. I was really impressed with the quality of this. We do have $2 tree pluses now. I try to stay out of them though because I find that I spend too much money. But I think this is well worth $5. It barely fits, but we're going to have that be our large tree here in our little candy cane forest. And then we're going to kind of build up both sides, trying to create a path through it. I found this one for $3, another little flocked Christmas tree, and I got this one at the Target dollar spot. It's really pretty too. It's got like a little wood slice base. All I have to do is fluff it up. I was trying to stick with flocked trees. I really like that look, and I think it looks really high end. So this tree is ready to go. Since this is kind of big too, we're going to put that over on the other side. And then this is the Dollar Tree $1 version. So again, it's flocked. It's on a wood slice. It's pretty high quality. This one was a little wild. I'm just going to give it a quick trim. But I found 2 of these actually, and I think that these will be good too to help make the little candy cane forest. And of course, we're going to add some candy canes to it as well. But I definitely wanted trees in my forest. So I'm just going to put that one over there. And then I got one last year at Dollar Tree too. That's exactly the same. Another little flocked $1 Dollar Tree Christmas tree. Now to make the snowy bottom, I picked up 5 of the little microfiber mop heads from Dollar Tree. I love using these for snow. They're so fluffy and no mess involved, so they're always my favorite. So it's going to take a total of 5 of these to cover the entire bottom of the top of my cupboard where we're making that candy cane forest. So we just removed all the tags on them, got them cleaned up, and this is going to be great too because I can kind of piece it around things if I need to. The only stand I really wanted to cover up was the Dollar Tree Plus tree. It's got this big metal stand. It doesn't really look like a forest. So I just put the mop head right on top and then kind of stack my little Dollar Tree, cheaper tree there on top. Everything stood up, but I did have to kind of work with it a little bit. And then I put another one of the mop heads on the other side. And I think a total of 5 of these is going to fill this up perfectly. So it's just a matter of kind of standing these up, seeing if they will fit. I guess you could always glue them down if you needed to, but once I got everything put together, it stayed together pretty well. So total of 5. Look how fluffy that looks. It looks like a nice fluffy snowfall. And I love the little wood slices that all the other trees are on, so I think that looks good. I think that looks good with the vibe. And I was trying to create like a little path that comes from the side that the gingerbread men can walk down. Now, I told you it was a candy cane forest, so we need some candy canes. For candy canes, I'm going to use a piece of white poster board from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to DIY them. So I was kind of seeing about how much I need. I think I can make 3 giant candy cane sticks out of one of the pieces of poster board. So I'm just going to kind of estimate and cut those into thirds. Now, I tried to actually glue this with a glue stick first, and it totally didn't work. So I'm going to use hot glue. Why not? So I just put hot glue along one seam and roll it, trying to keep that round shape. I'm not going to be doing like the hook on the candy canes. I'm just going to go for giant candy cane sticks. I just thought it would be easier. And so I'm trying to like leave my straight edges here where they're visible, but that can always be the back of my candy cane. And I just do the same thing on all 3 of them, putting a stripe of hot glue down and then just rolling them until they are secure. Now to make the stripes, I thought the easiest way to make candy cane stripes would be to add some red ribbon instead of painting. So I picked up some red ribbon from Dollar Tree, And we are just going to start this at the bottom of our little candy cane stick, right here on the back where we have our seam. And then just glue it on at an angle so that I can spiral that around my little candy cane stick. And easy peasy candy cane stick, very inexpensive to put together. And it actually turned out pretty good. It was pretty easy to stand up, being like the open shape that it is, and it's very lightweight. So I just glued the end of my ribbon down. That one looks pretty good, so I just need to do the same thing 2 more times here to make 2 more giant candy cane sticks. And I was really trying to figure out how to make them shape like a candy cane, and I'm kind of glad that I kind of gave up on that because I really don't think it would have added anything to it. These turned out so cute once I put them in the little forest, and wait till you see the little gingerbread men that we're going to put inside. So this is the last one. I just keep repeating the process. They don't have to be perfect. Each one can be a little bit different. Doesn't really matter. But I think 3 is going to be enough. And my cupboard has 3 shelves that we're going to be DIYing. And each one I'm going to be doing in a slightly different gingerbread theme. But they all look great together. So these 3 are ready to go. Let me show you how I put these in our little candy cane forest. I'm going to do one right here. And the way I was able to get them to stand up was to kind of have it lean against something. So I had that one lean against a tree, that one kind of lean against the back, and this one can lean up against this other larger tree. But you could always close the bottom with some masking tape and weigh the bottom with some pebbles or rocks if you need to, if you have trouble getting yours to stand up. But mine did pretty good. Now to line my pathway, I'm going to use some of these Dollar Tree wood slices. These are just rounds. At first I was going to paint them to look like candy, but then I kind of liked the rustic feel of just using the raw wood, and so I kind of just left them as is. And I'm just going to line that imaginary path that I have made there through the candy cane forest. And it's going to be all ready for our little gingerbread men to come frolic through the little winter wonderland. This turned out so cute. I kind of had a vision for this in my head, and I'm so glad I did it. I love how the shelf turned out. Here they are. I found these at Target Dollar Spot. Aren't they so cute? They're $3. They're like a medium size, and the great thing about these little gingerbread men is that they are weighted in their feet, so they stand up on their own, which is so cool. So I'm just going to cut off all the tags on these. One's holding a candy cane. One's holding like a little starlight mint, kind of like a his and hers. See how they stand up? Isn't that so cool? And so I'm going to have them walking down the path in the little candy cane forest. So we'll stand him right here where we can see him. And then we'll have her walking like slightly ahead right there. And I'm so impressed how they can stand up on their own. That just makes it so much easier to decorate with. Okay, on to the second shelf of the cupboard. This one I want it to look like a fancy gingerbread house village. So I found these little snow rolls for $1 at Dollar Spot. And they're kind of like polyfill. They really are like that. I think that's pretty much all they are. So I'm going to take this and try to line my little gingerbread village with this. I do kind of like the texture of it better when you kind of separate it, and I end up doing that. It kind of looks more like snow to me than the top of these do, because I don't think this looks that great. I wasn't that impressed with them. But I guess it's cheaper than what I did on the top shelf using the 5 mop heads from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to kind of measure, see how big I need these to be. I'm going to have to kind of piece this together in like at least 3 pieces to get everything covered. So I made another strip here to kind of fill out the back. And then I wasn't going to have enough to fill the other side, but I had another roll that I had picked up at the Dollar Spot. And so I'm going to use that to add to it. But you know what? I end up kind of taking them apart, so I actually ended up with lots of extra. But at this point, I thought I was going to kind of leave them like this, and you totally could. The great thing about these kind of roll snows are, that they're not messy at all, but I do kind of add to mine to kind of make it extra pretty. I wanted just gingerbread houses. I want them to look really fancy, and I just want to do like a little village on this. But Again, not that impressed with the polyfill, but we're going to make it work. So I like it better when it looks fluffy. So I just ripped the top half off mine. Makes it thinner, but then you get that fluffy like polyfill vibe, and I liked that way better. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to rip all of them in half so it's all nice and fluffy on top with the snow. And I like that a lot better. Now I wanted to do greenery all around the back, and I found this wreath garland at Target Dollar Spot for $5, and it's really beautiful. It's got this like flocked greenery, and it's got like little berries that kind of look like snowballs, leaves. It's really pretty, and I thought this would pretty much fill up the back of the entire shelf if I use the whole thing. So I'm just going to open it up, kind of bring my ends together. Basically, I'm folding the entire wired garland in half. And then I can kind of shape that. I want it to be like an arc shape so it can like go around the back of my little gingerbread village. And instead of having to put lots of trees and everything back there, it's going to provide a lot of greenery. And I think it's so pretty. So I just kind of lay it like that. It's just kind of like a C shape. And then kind of spread that around. I kind of like the greenery, and I want it to stand up, so I'm actually going to go in there and actually kind of stand up all of the greenery just to make it easier to see. Just trying to kind of smooth out my snow layer so you can't really see the seams, and then I just go around and stand everything up. Since everything's wired, super easy to do. And even though it was $5, I think it was worth it. It's just such high quality and really pretty. And I didn't really do anything to it, so I can always reuse it for a later wreath or DIY if I want to next year. Now, this is my inspiration for my little gingerbread village. We're going to be using this later on in the video. I got this at Target Dollar Spot for $5, and it is a beautiful light up gingerbread house. And so I'm just going to use that as inspiration to try to recreate that out of Dollar Tree houses. So this is the little plastic Dollar Tree church. We're going to do a little gingerbread church. I don't know why that part's not attached. I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that back on. And I just want to do a glam version, kind of like that Cocoa Cafe. Here is the little Dollar Tree bed and breakfast. And one thing I noticed is that they have stopped putting batteries in these. I went to test them. The church one does have batteries. It must be one from last year. But all the rest of these, I had to add 2 AAA batteries to. So I went through a ton of batteries today. So that's me reading the direction going, Dollar Tree, where's the batteries in these? They're getting cheaper on us, huh? The good news is that AAA is easier to replace in these than the little button batteries that they normally use in them. But I got 2 of the matching houses. I thought those were really cute. And we're just going to kind of do a village out of all of them. This is the closest color I had. I had khaki spray paint. I thought that would be the easiest way to spray these plastic houses. So I'm going to take these outside, put them on some cardboard, and I gave them a quick spray. And it did a pretty good job. It's not like the exact color of gingerbread that I wanted, but I think it was definitely the easiest way to paint them. Now, kind of like my inspiration piece, I want like all of the windows and doors and details to be white. And so to do that, I'm just going to use a white paint pen. I was kind of going back and forth whether I should use like a fine tip, whether I should use the larger tip. I ended up using the larger tip because I don't really care if I get it, out of line and stuff like that, because it's supposed to look like gingerbread frosting, so it's not supposed to look perfect, and it was just easier to use my larger pen. And these are my Posca paint pens. I love these. I get them usually on Amazon, but they do have these at Target as well. They are in my Amazon shop listed below. They will paint on just about anything. They are so amazing. I do find that Amazon prices are better on these. They're a little pricey at Target. And then I'm just going to go over all of the windows of our church and like just any of the details, like along the steeple, around the roof line, anywhere where I can kind of see a detail. And I just do the front and both sides. I even did like the little brick here at the base. Anything I can kind of bring out, but I'm not going to do the back because you're not going to be able to see back there. And that looks really cool. I'm also going to be trying to add like snow and glitter to these, just like our inspiration piece from the Target dollar spot. So these are definitely going to be undergoing a transformation, but I love how they turned out. They turned out so fancy, just what I wanted. So for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I just use my white paint pen, going around the roof lines, the windows, anywhere where I can see a detail that it would look good if I kind of outlined it. And again, the windows do have cutouts on them because, of course, we're going to light these up. And anytime I can light something up for Christmas, I love it. I was able to light up this cupboard with these, and then I was also able to light up my coffee bar. And I love that. It's so fun. So I'm just going to do the sides on the house as well, just like I did before. And maybe a little on the roof and the chimney and stuff like that. I'm not going to do the shingles or anything like that because I want to kind of cover that part of the house with snow a little later on. So those two were unique. And then I have two of these houses. They have like this little balcony at the top. So I thought that would be cute if I did like a dusting of white on that. And again, you're not going for perfection on these. You're just going for coverage. I do want to add some color to these after I get them painted white. So not all of these areas will stay white. Because I wanted them to have a little bit of red because I'm using red a lot today for my gingerbread DIYs because it just goes perfectly together. I just kind of trace out the roof line and stuff too, but again, kind of avoiding the roof with that one. And then I'm going to use that one as reference, kind of paint the second one the same since they are the same house. I just won't put them next to each other so you won't know. And yes, they do have these in a gingerbread house, and we're going to be using the gingerbread house one later in today's video for the coffee bar. But I was going for fancy high-end looking ones, and I think these turned out so cute. I do a comparison side by side here in a minute that I'll show you. You can kind of see the difference. It really was worth the extra work of DIYing these. I've made a larger version of the gingerbread house. I'll be sure to post a link to that video at the end of this video if you haven't seen those gingerbread DIYs, where I took two of the Dollar Tree toy doll houses and made a large gingerbread house. It turned out so cute. Now for the snow, I'm going to Mod Podge all over the roof of this house, a nice thick layer. And then I'm going to be using the faux snow from Dollar Tree. I love this because it's very sparkly. And my choice was between this and like the little foam balls. I hate those things. They're so messy. I don't think I'll ever buy those again. The packages leak and everything. And I just spread that faux snow all over. And then I decided to do the ground too around the house, just the very base. I add more Mod Podge and I sprinkle on some faux snow there. Very glittery. And speaking of glitter, for the glitter, I'm going to use spray glue from Dollar Tree. And I picked up some white glitter at Walmart. It came in a little multi-pack. I couldn't find any white at Dollar Tree. And I just spray the spray adhesive on the side. And I'm just going to add a pinch of white glitter. And it's going to give us that all over glittery frosted effect that was on my inspiration piece. So again, I'm only doing the front and both sides. I'm kind of ignoring the bag just because you're not going to be able to see it. And I just spray and sprinkle glitter just until it has a nice glisten. So that one looks pretty good. It was messy. I did put down some poster board first. Definitely put down something because you will have a mess. You know, I'm always removing glitter from things. I'm never adding glitter to things. So I'm going to start with the base on this one first. This one has kind of a patio area too, so I just put Mod Podge all over, sprinkle the faux snow, and then we're going to do the roof just like we did before. And this did give it a really cool effect. At first I was just going to use like white acrylic paint for the like icing snowy roof, but I'm glad I went with the faux snow. I think it turned out really pretty. Now it's time to glitter the church. So again, I used the spray glue Sometimes I can have trouble finding that at Dollar Tree. Whenever I find this stuff, I try to stock up on it because it works great for gluing sand on. So I knew it would do a really good job with glitter, and it really did. It was so easy. So it shimmers all over our little fancy gingerbread church. We'll go ahead and set that aside. And now we have the two little twin houses, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to do glue on the ground and faux snow on the roof. And you can use school glue for this. I used Mod Podge. They're pretty much going to give you about the same effect. And then just sprinkle the entire roof line and go around the base. And then we're going to go in with the spray glue and glitter this. It was messy, but I was getting pretty good at it by the time I got to my third one. Now, as you can see, my color of khaki was just not the same color as the inspiration piece. So if you have like that color, totally go for it. Anytime I can spray paint like a detailed plastic house like this, I always try to do it, even though it has been raining so much here in Florida that the humidity was so bad. It took me forever to get the spray paint to dry on these. We had tropical storm and we didn't even have a hurricane. My son down in Boca got hit like 3 or 4 days. It just would not stop pouring. It was crazy. Now I'm just doing the glitter on my last house. Look how glitzy and cool these are looking. Okay, I told you I wanted to add a little bit of color. You could just leave them brown and white, but I wanted some details of red. I thought that'd be fun, especially since I have red on all my other shelves and in my gingerbread decor. So the bed and breakfast, I just went in and made the wreath on the door red, and I made the sign red, and they had like little garland. Anywhere I could see a little detail that I can make red, I kind of painted red, like the awning. And this one's got like this big giant door. And so I'm just going to go ahead and make that entire door red. And it also has like a little inset here on the roof that I thought would be cool if I made that red. I just wanted some red accents just to bring in a little bit more fun. I probably should have done this before I glittered it, but oh well, it still worked. And then for our church, I want to do some details of red too. There's like a little reef on their door and like a little stained glass and stuff. And I just kind of give them a few details. And I love how these turned out. I think they're so cute. Just touching up some of the paint, I kind of messed up. Got a little bit of red where I shouldn't have. And I think that these are ready to go. Now it's time to light them up. So I'm glad that I stocked up on AAA batteries from Amazon. Who knew? I love those Amazon basic batteries. I get them in AAA and AA. You can subscribe to those so you get them like, you know, a couple times a year or something like that. And they're so nice to have in stock so you don't have to run out to the store. But one thing I noticed comparing that, didn't need batteries for that one, must be from last year. The ones with the AAA batteries that I had to add batteries to are brighter than the ones that had batteries already in them. So there is that. And I guess they are easier to replace since they are a standard size. They are a little tricky to change their batteries though. I don't know if it was my cheapo Dollar Tree screwdriver or not, but I was able to get batteries in the 3 that needed them and got them all lit up. I thought it would be pretty to sprinkle some more of that faux snow all over our little polyfill snow to make it extra sparkly and beautiful in there. And then we can add our houses to form our little gingerbread house village. And these are definitely really very fancy gingerbread houses, and I love how they turned out. I think they're so cute. So I did the little bed and the breakfast. I did the house. Then to mix it up, we're going to do like the church next. And I'm just kind of doing in that like U shape like we did with the greenery, where it has like a little imaginary like circle drive right here in front. And there is our second little house. Now, these are the gingerbread houses that come like those. So you can kind of see the difference DIYing the others versus the original. You totally get a different effect. So I wanted to show that to you for reference. Okay, now for the courtyard, like there in front of the houses, I thought we could use one of these little Dollar Tree LED Christmas trees. Again, it didn't have batteries. So adding some AAA batteries to this, and it lights up. Now this one is color changing, which I kind of like and I kind of don't. So I'm not sure if I'm going to run this one or not. I did want it to kind of look like frosting. I didn't want to paint it brown because then you wouldn't be able to see the colors come through it. But I did want just little white tips on the Christmas tree to make it look like frosting. So I just used my white paint pen and just add a little dab of frosting or faux snow on the tip of the tree to kind of make it go with the vibe of the gingerbread house village. But I thought the white sparkly would be perfect since I use so much white sparkly. So this is how it looks when it's like changing colors. So it is going to make it more colorful, or I'm not sure if I'm going to turn this one on or not. I probably will. It's pretty. And I put that right there in front. Now I needed a few more trees, and I got these little trees from Target and clearance after Christmas last year, really cheap, but they're not flocked. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to flock any kind of cheap little tree that you get from Dollar Tree or wherever. All you got to take is some white acrylic and a brush and just lightly dust over, just kind of like you're distressing the plant, if you will. And it gives you a faux flocked that really goes well with like the real stuff. And you can see how just absolute easy this is to do. And it took these really kind of cheap looking Christmas trees and just, I think the flocking just makes them look way more high end. But I love these are in little wood boxes already, and so I thought these would be perfect to finish out my little Christmas village scene. I'm just going to pop one of these in each corner. They are a little tall, so I did have to kind of bend over the top branch on these to get these to fit. But they kind of go with the vibe of the other greenery that we added in there, and I think they're really cute. So one in that corner, got it kind of folded over. I pre-folded this one so it would be the right size and pop that one in there too. Now our gingerbread village just needs gingerbread men. So I found these little ornaments at the Dollar Tree and I thought these would be perfect. They're just the right size. So they are glued to these little metal Christmas ornaments, and I'm just using my heat gun and a spatula to pop these off. There was a little girl, there's a Santa Claus. This one is like in a winter hat and scarf. And I'm going to do, there's 6 of them on here for $1.25, but I'm only going to do 4. I think 4 is going to be plenty. Aren't they so cute? You could also use the little wood gingerbread men from Dollar Tree, but you would have to decorate them yourself. These guys were kind of ready to go. So I'm going to stand this little gingerbread man in front of his little gingerbread house. Stand this one kind of in front of the Christmas tree. This one's going to be over here at church, kind of in the like courtyard area. And then we can do this one over here at this house, the little Santa one. Easy peasy, and now our little gingerbread village is inhabited. Okay, the third and final shelf of the cupboard, I want to do a gingerbread bakery theme. So I'm going to use this little wood house that I got at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to DIY a giant gingerbread house. I just removed the hanger and fill it in with some spackle. And I'm going to try to make this look like gingerbread. This is the closest color paint I had. It was just like in a multi-paint pack of paint that I got on clearance at Target the other day. I'm not even really sure what shade it is, but it's pretty close. I used to have a perfect shade for gingerbread, but I must have used it all. I think it was the Cashew Chalk Paint by Waverly. But this is pretty close to gingerbread color. I think it's going to work. And so I just use a brush and I'm going all over. A little tricky trying to go around the windows and stuff like that, so you're definitely going to have to use a brush. And I went ahead and painted everything brown. I can always go back and change things to white. Now I want it to look like white frosting on a giant gingerbread house, so I'm just using white acrylic and I'm putting it on very thick and gloppy to try to give the appearance of frosting. So I go over the little snowy roof. It looks perfect for a little gingerbread house.
And again, kind of thick and gloppy. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the windows. I think my brush might be a little too big though, so I'm going to switch to a smaller one. And I need to stock up on some more of the smaller brushes from Dollar Tree because I'm kind of running low on these things. And I use them a lot more than I think. And I'm just going to go ahead and frost all of our gingerbread windows. Super easy. And then I thought it still kind of needed a door. And I did kind of want to add a little color. So I just can't really see the door on there. But I'm going to just go ahead and sketch it on there anyway with a red paint pen. And then just for bold colors, I use red acrylic and just go in and fill that in with paint. I can kind of see some other details like the tree and stuff, but I'm not going to add anything like that. It's just going to be a very basic looking gingerbread house sign. So I got that painted red. I did have to go over like my little snowy roof with more white acrylic to really get that frosting effect. I want it to be nice and thick, and I don't really want you to be able to see the brown gingerbread through it, I guess. And I'm not being too careful, but I then thought maybe it was a little too sloppy. So I did go back with my original color and kind of touched it up a little bit because I was getting a little carried away with my frosting color. And I do kind of want it to look like, just like a real gingerbread house. We're going to make this a standing sign. It's going to kind of be the back of the shelf for our little bakery theme. So I definitely wanted to kind of try to make it look real. Now, I'm also going to frost the sides of the door with more white acrylic just by doing a nice thick coat, and I'll even do a little doorknob on there. And I actually want it so thick that I kind of have ridges in the paint to make it look like frosting. It does take a little bit longer for that to dry though. And then I kind of took some antique wax by Waverly and a chunky brush, and I just kind of dappled all over, trying to give kind of like a powdery effect to give a texture to the gingerbread to try to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then I added some of these little candy pieces, these stickers from the Dollar Tree, one on each side for candy. And then I was trying to figure out what else I could use for candy to decorate our gingerbread house. And I do have some red and green beads, but they are square, but that's okay. I think they'll be fine. I definitely wanted to do red and green if I could, and I found enough of those to kind of fill that out. I think I've used all my round ones when I was doing the large faux gingerbread house out of the doll houses. So I'm just going to kind of alternate red and green. It's going to give me the appearance that we decorated the roof of the gingerbread house with frosting and candy. And I think that's about as detailed as it needs to be. Now to make it stand up, I'm just going to hot glue on one of those little Jenga blocks from Five Below to the back. It makes a perfect little stand so we can stand this up on its own. And there is our giant gingerbread house. It's going to go in first on the bakery themed shelf. Now, this is actually my flour canister from my kitchen. I'm going to have to go over there and get it, I guess. But I thought it would go with the baking theme, so I'm going to put that here too. I thought that would be a fun touch. Now for the next item, it is a cookie jar that I found at the Target dollar spot. That is a gingerbread house. It was $5, and look how adorable this cookie jar is. So it's perfect as is. I don't need to do anything to it. It's perfect for the bakery theme. It's perfect for the gingerbread theme. So I'm going to kind of sit that over here on the other side of our little flower crock. Now, I also found this cookie jar at Target dollar spot. They had so many things. This was also $5. This is Gingerbread Bakery, but I'm going to use this cookie jar as a crock. It looks like a crock to me, so I thought we could put some baking supplies in there to make some gingerbread cookies. So there's a couple items I found. This is a little gingerbread man spatula that I found for $1 at the Target dollar spot. I thought we could stand that up in the crock. And then I also found a little mini rolling pin at the Target dollar spot. It's just kind of a plain one. It doesn't really have anything on it, which makes it great because I can use it for different holidays. That was in a $3 little pack from the Target dollar spot. And we're just going to kind of stand those in the crock. It is kind of big though, so I'm going to add a little Dollar Tree, little plush gingerbread man in there.
so he can kind of look like he's involved in the baking process, and it'll kind of make everything stand up without having to get more utensils to put in there. But I think that goes perfect with the gingerbread bakery theme. So cute. We're going to display this here in front of my flour container. I was struggling trying to get the gingerbread man's spatula to stand up so that you could see it. And we're going to put this here in front of the flour and between that and our giant gingerbread house. And then I wanted to make a displayed recipe card for gingerbread. So I'm going to use one of these little easel chalkboards from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to DIY it. I created a gingerbread recipe card. And this is a free printable that I will share for you. I'll share the Google Drive below so you can recreate it. I sized mine perfectly to fit this little chalkboard. And I even made it look like it was on like an index card. I thought about doing handwriting, but then I was like, that's okay. We'll type it. Everybody likes a typed recipe card. And we're just going to kind of make this look like a recipe card stand. It'll stand on its own because it's the easel, but I want to do like a little shelf and then the little card on there with the gingerbread recipe. I did the dry mix and the wet mix on there. Now, I did notice that you could kind of see the black chalkboard around the edges because this does have kind of rounded edges. So it's not a perfect fit, but it's pretty close. But I don't really want you to see the dark on that when I go to glue my printable on the front. And we're going to do that with Mod Podge. I printed out my printable on cardstock, so it's really easy to Mod Podge with. I just cut it down, glue it on with the Mod Podge like that. You don't even really have to wait for it to dry. You're just going to want to make sure that you smooth it out with dry fingers or a paper towel. And then go over the top of it with more Mod Podge to seal this. Just going to make it more of a permanent display, and it's perfect for the gingerbread bakery theme. And it turned out really cute. I did notice that you could still see the black kind of coming through from the chalkboard, so I did touch that up a little bit. And then I wanted to look like there was a little ledge that the recipe card was sitting on. And I had a piece of this bamboo that's really similar to what the sign's made out of. I get these on Amazon. They are linked in my Amazon shop. You could also use a dowel if that's all you had, but these are flat, so I thought this would work perfectly. I'm going to use my miter scissors to cut that down, and thank you so much to whoever it was that told me that I can replace the blade on those. I did just get some the replacements in. I ordered them from Amazon, and I can't wait to have sharp miter scissors again because mine are so dull. And that's all there is to it. We have a little gingerbread recipe card. How easy was that? And I will be sure to include the link to your free printable so you can recreate that. We're going to put that over in front of the giant gingerbread house. And then I have another one of those little gingerbread men from Dollar Tree. We're going to kind of stand him up where he's kind of like peeking out on the side of the card, kind of propping him between that and the wall. Now, this is a little sleigh that looks like it's made out of gingerbread cookies. I got this for $3 at the Target dollar spot. You know, their stuff's getting a little bit more expensive because normally I would think this would be a dollar item, but it was really cute, so I went ahead and splurged. I thought that would look really cute in front of our giant gingerbread house. Little gingerbread cookie sleigh. To help fill this out. Now, these were still kind of bothering me, so I'm just going to kind of rearrange these a little bit to see if I can get them a little bit sturdier and make sure everything is nice and full. I thought a cookie sheet would be perfect. This is a cookie sheet that I have, but obviously I don't use because it's so pretty. And so I'm actually just going to use that as part of the decor. Why not? A cookie sheet is going to go perfect with a gingerbread bakery theme. So I'm just going to kind of stand that up on its side back here. And I think that's the final touch to our bakery theme there. Now for the top of the cupboard, I wanted to make a banner, and I found this little make your own gingerbread banner at Target dollar spot for only $3. And I saw these little felt gingerbread men in there, and I thought, oh, this is going to save me a lot of time. It comes with a red and white twine, and it comes with a really cool plastic needle. I'll have to be sure to save that because I'm constantly making my own garlands. And look how cute the little gingerbread men are. They're made out of felt, they're all painted, they're all ready to go, so definitely a time saver. And these were in the Target dollar spot over with like the kids' toys and stuff like that. So I guess it's a kids' activity. So I'm enjoying it. And I'm just going to go ahead and string all 5 on. I think that's going to be perfect for the top of my cupboard. Now, they did come with things to decorate them with, like little pom-poms, candy canes, candy, snowflakes, and stuff. But they're kind of made out of paper and stuff like that. So I wasn't that impressed with them. I did save my pom-poms and stuff for later use. And I thought, I kind of want to do the peppermint candies. I was kind of looking to see how theirs were decorated. I thought I would use maybe just 2 of these. I didn't want to use a lot of them. So I'm going to make like 3 of my gingerbread men plain, and then I'm going to have 2 of them with little peppermint candies on them, just to provide a little pop of color. They are cool that they're stickers, but I think they look a little cheap, so I thought they looked better without it. I have enough gingerbread stuff going on in my cupboard already. I think this is going to be fine, especially with the red and white twine. I think it looks really Christmassy and fun. Now I have little command hooks at the top of my cupboard because I'm always hanging little garlands up here for different seasons. And so I just tie loops on the ends of each end of my gingerbread banner, and then I can kind of rearrange those until they're hanging all even, and that's how it looks on the top. Okay, our little cupboard is complete. Let me give you a little peek around. Here is our candy cane forest. Then we have our super glitzy gingerbread house village that lights up and is so cool. And then down here at the bottom of the cupboard, we did the gingerbread bakery theme. I was so glad that I kind of mixed it up. It's all gingerbread, but you know, and I think it goes nicely together. So I just wanted to give you a little tour around and show you how it all looks like together. But we're not done with the Dollar Tree DIYs and dollar spot finds. We have tons more because I'm also going to be doing my coffee bar. But this is how the cover turns out. I have this in my dining area, so it's going to look great combined with the fact that I'm doing my coffee bar too. We're going to have a gingerbread takeover. So cute, my absolute favorite. Now, these are the new bottles from the Dollar Tree, and I'm kind of obsessed with them. Every time I see them, I buy them, especially these clear ones. They come in different colors, and they have a little battery pack inside with batteries and lights. So you can do a little light up bottle. Isn't that so cute? And I've never seen anything like this at Dollar Tree before. I was really impressed with it. I thought we could make a really cute little Christmas bottle just by using a Dollar Tree window cling. So I picked up the gingerbread house one, and I thought this would be really cute in my kitchen because gingerbread have taken over my entire kitchen and dining room. At least that part of my house is decorated, right? And I am just putting that on the front. It's glass. It's a window cling, so you don't have to glue it or anything. And then these are the lights that go inside. The battery's already in there, and just pull out the tab and just have to unwind the wire for all the little LED lights. I was trying to think of something that I could put in the bottle that would look Christmassy, but doesn't really cover up the lights. I thought about pine, but then I kind of decided to switch it up and go more white, and I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree snow for this. I tried a craft funnel at first, but I think my craft funnel that I picked was a little too small because it was taking a little bit too much effort. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just make a mess. So I'm just going to sprinkle some in here, about half of what I have. And then we can like put the lights in there and kind of go there from there. I'm not going to be able to fill it up too much just because I didn't have very much of the snow. And I just kind of string it inside about halfway and then dump some more snow in, put some more lights in, kind of see where we're at. You're going to want your power switch to be on the back where you can turn it on and off to make it easier. And you can also kind of rearrange exactly where your lights are to get it how you want it. I decided I wanted more snow, so I decided to dump the rest of it in there. Kind of is like a snow globe kind of thing. But that white glittery snow really glistens with the lights, and you can usually see the lights through the snow. But again, I'm not going to fill it up very full, just enough to have a little snowy effect. Isn't this so cute? I thought that would make a really easy Christmas counter DIY for my kitchen. And then to finish it off, I love red and white gingham with gingerbread. So I just got some Dollar Tree ribbon and I'm just going to tie that around the neck of the bottle. I'm going to go back in and double knot that. It's going to make it a little bit easier. I was having a hand spasm and I was trying to make this bow. Oh my goodness, I've never had that happen before. And I'm just going to tie a simple bow and my hand decided to stop doing whatever it was doing and tie it. And I tie mine where I try to make sure that you can see all of the print because it's not a double-sided ribbon. And then just cut off the two tails, just a quick little ribbon for the top. Such an easy DIY and so cute. I love these bottles. I have stocked up on them because I think you could probably use these for just about any season. And I love a light up bottle, and one for $1.25 I think is a really good deal. It's also like a really pretty bottle. The cork looks a little cheap, but you kind of need it because it has your batteries in it. I guess you could always paint that too. But this is how mine turned out with my little twinkle lights inside. A little gingerbread decoration on the front goes great with the white snow inside. And this is how it looks with a little bit less light. Okay, up next, I promised you guys a gingerbread coffee bar, and this is one of the favorite ones that I have done. I tend to do gingerbread every year now on my coffee bar because I really love it. So the first thing we're going to do is I need to make a new coffee bar sign for my coffee bar. I'm going to decorate it for Christmas, and I really want it to be like a gingerbread theme, and I came up with some fun ideas. A lot of these you could also do for like a tier tray if you wanted, or just for decor. So I have this great thrift flip sign that I got at Goodwill, and you guys have seen me make this over like 10 times. So I'm just kind of removing the stuff I had on there for my fall coffee bar sign. I really like this sign because it's like a wood pallet. It's really sturdy. It's a perfect size for the top of my coffee bar that I built. And I just kind of need a blank slate. So I just removed everything I had glued on there, and we're just going to paint the whole thing white just to have a blank slate because I want to paint it like a bright red for Christmas. And I'm doing a lot of red and white, and I thought that would make it really pop against my wall. I have like a white shiplap wallpaper, and so I think the red sign would look really nice against the white. So just giving it a simple paint job with some acrylic paint. And I want to make this like look like a hand painted sign, but I didn't want to actually do the stenciling and stuff like that. So I'll show you how I do it. I end up using my Cricut, but you totally could use like the poster letters to make a sign like this from the Dollar Tree and paint over it. I just kind of wanted this to be a quick and easy DIY. And so we've almost got this painted white. I had a lot of stuff glued on there, and I'm going to try to avoid doing that today because it's a lot to clean up, and then you have holes like this, and you have to patch them and stuff like that to kind of get a smooth surface. But the great thing about like a real wood sign like this is that, you know, you can like paint it as many times as you want and remake this over and over. And I kind of like remaking the sign too, just because I don't have to store it. I can just make it new every single time for my coffee bar. Now, since this is going to be a gingerbread man theme, I got one of these little wood gingerbreads from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to give him like a really cool paint job. I really want him to stand out. He's going to be like a really focal piece on the coffee bar. And I tried to get as many like gingerbread things as I could find from the Dollar Tree. I just need to paint him a gingerbread color. I don't really have that color, so I'm just gonna mix some colors together. I had some like deep brown from the Dollar Tree, some white, and I added a little yellow just to kind of get the right shade. If you don't have the right shade, you can usually mix colors together if you've got like a good, you know, base amount of colors. This is the first time I've used like the Dollar Tree paint, I think. It actually was fine. I never really pick it up because I've never really heard much about it. It was a little bit thin, but totally worked. Now this has all the little bump outs, like the little bow tie, the icing, the
buttons, but I just went ahead and painted everything brown just because it was easier at that point. And then we can go back and do frosting. I'm just going to use white acrylic. If you have like white hot glue, that would work really well too. I really want to buy some of that. I saw somebody else craft with that and I'm kind of obsessed. So I need to get on Amazon and order some of that. Maybe I'll put some in my Amazon shop too. And I'm just going to start painting the little bump out parts white to kind of make it look like icing. It does require a couple coats of that to get it, you know, really white and make it pop. I'm also going to go ahead and paint the bow tie white too, just so I can make this a brighter color without that brown background. And I kind of switched to a makeup sponge because I find it easier to work with than the brush sometimes on these little projects from the Dollar Tree. But he's so cute. He's got like real little buttons on him. So we can go ahead and pick those white too, just so I can go back and paint those a color. I want to do this a very traditional red, white, and green color scheme. But I also want it to look like he's got frosting like all around his sides. So using a white paint pen, I'm just going to go all the way around. This is going to make it help it pop too when we paint the sign red. Really kind of make him stand out. My white paint pens, I don't know, I think I used them too much because I was struggling with this. I switched a couple times and they didn't want to work too great. And I'm painting this all around. Then I just draw on some eyes with the white paint pen as well. As you can tell, I'm like switching white paint pens, going, does anything work? And then a red paint pen just to do a simple little smile, no nose or anything, on our little gingerbread man. And then I decided we should do the bow tie in green, so I'm going to do that with a paint pen as well. Just that red and green color scheme. It's going to be very festive, very traditional Christmas colors, and some red on those cute little buttons on the front. Another coat of green to kind of blend that out, and then a red paint pen, we can like decorate it even more, make it even fancier with some little squiggles of icing on his arms and his legs. Decided I wasn't a big fan of the eyes, and I decided that I kind of wanted them to bump out. So I'm going to use some of those little wood half beads. I just had some left over from another project, and I thought those would be the perfect size for little eyes. You could use buttons as well too. I do want them to be black though, so I'm just going to use a black paint pen and simply paint those a dark color. And we can attach those to the front of the gingerbread man, and he's looking pretty good. So just a dot of hot glue, and this looks a lot better to me. I kind of like the 3D vibe of it. And then I thought maybe also outlining the little green bow tie with white and the buttons would make them kind of stand out as well. He's looking really cute. I kept switching back to a paintbrush just because the paint pens weren't doing it for me. I guess I need to get some new ones. And there he is. He's all painted, and now we can start painting the sign. I want to do it red. It's a kind of a big sign, and so I'm just going to use one of these little paint roller sets from the Dollar Tree. Such a good deal. You get a paintbrush, gloves, a roller, and a tray. And I'm going to use this bright red, I think this was called fire red, acrylic paint. And it's such a big sign, it takes about one bottle of that. Just going all over, and since we did that nice white background, you can see that the color is really bright red and it's really popping. This is going to be the perfect background for our gingerbread man and for our lettering on our sign. Looking pretty good. And I just went to my Cricut and I cut out Gingerbread Bakery. I took some existing fonts and I modified them. I will try to remember to share that in the description below, my Cricut files, if you want to recreate this sign. And I just use white vinyl that I get on Amazon. That's available in my Amazon shop below too. Works really well. It works better than the Dollar Tree. You don't have to worry about the back sticking to your mat and stuff like that. And so just using my little Cricut Bright Pad, we are just gonna weed this. different font. I did a larger, simpler font for the bakery part. And I did these to size like 4 inches by 14 inches. And this is that paper transfer paper that I love so much. I have that in my Amazon shop as well too. It works so great for vinyl and makes it so easy. Now, normally, I do like hand painted signs, so I do a lot of stencils, but this time we're just going to do the vinyl. It's only going to need to be up, through Christmas, and so I think this is going to be fine. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it. That paper is see-through enough that you can kind of line up where you want it to be, but it's not too sticky, so I love it. So Gingerbread Bakery, I'm not going to do anything on the bottom because I usually have stuff sitting in my coffee bar there, kind of blocking that part of the sign. And then to kind of prevent gluing up my sign too much, there was a hole in the gingerbread, so I'm just going to use that to nail the gingerbread on and avoid some later glue removal. And there it is. We have our little gingerbread bakery sign. This is the perfect start for our gingerbread coffee bar for Christmas. It's so cute. Okay, you'll have to wait around for the final reveal to see how everything looks together, but let's keep moving. This one is going to be a snow globe DIY. I got this great plain snow globe at the Dollar Tree, and it had a string on there already, but you can't really paint it or anything with that on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove the twine and the glue that was left over. And I want to do a little gingerbread scene, but it's kind of dark brown, so I thought just one coat of white acrylic paint is going to give me a good background to work with this. And I want to use those little treat bags you see there. I found those at the Dollar Tree. They're a little gingerbread man in front of a gingerbread house. And it's a treat bag, but I thought I could use that to make a really cool image for the snow globe. It's almost the perfect size. So I'm just going to take one of those treat bags. I'm going to kind of use it like you would use like a window cling. And I'm just going to cut the bag in half because there is like an image on both sides. And then we can attach that to our snow globe. Such an easy way to DIY a project, and the theme is perfect with a little gingerbread man and the gingerbread house. He fits on there really good. Only like one of his like candy pieces like is cut off. And so just like a window decal, I'm just going to put down a thin layer of Mod Podge and lay the little plastic bag on top of our snow globe. And if you can't find the plain snow globes at your Dollar Tree, you could also do this with any of the ones they have there. You could always just paint them white first. And then using a sanding block, I'm going to try to get off all of the excess plastic. I do kind of have to trim up here around the bottom with scissors just because it was kind of hard to get my sanding block in there. And it comes off really well. And then I kind of want to seal it, so I'm going to go over it with another coat of Mod Podge just to kind of take away that glossy feel and kind of seal that against it. And I'm not going to redo the twine because it would go right across where the gingerbread man was, but I thought we could outline the border of it with some of this red and white buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's the perfect width to go around the sides of it. And I didn't paint that part, so I thought that would be a good finishing touch. Now, I started to try to do it with Mod Podge, and it did not stick at all. I don't know if it's because the sides of the MDF there, it was soaking in, or if the ribbon was too, like, glossy, but totally didn't work. I had to attach it with hot glue. So if you're trying to do the same, you might run into some issues. So I just switch it up to hot glue, and we're just going to hot glue that ribbon all the way around. And that's the perfect little touch here on this. This is pretty much all the decorating we're going to do on this. I think it's going to turn out really cute. And it's a good piece. You could also use this for like a tier tray or something like that. And here he is, our little gingerbread man snow globe. Super cute and super easy. Okay, I want to make this little 4x6 house frame from the Dollar Tree into a gingerbread house. It's almost the perfect size for what I need, and I have a really easy way to do this one as well. I was checking out all of the gift bags at Dollar Tree because they had really good selection, and they had this giant bag. Like, it is so big. I can't even get it all in there. But it was a gingerbread theme, and I thought that would be perfect. I could just use this little gingerbread house on here for my coffee bar. So I'm just going to cut that gingerbread piece out a little larger than it is. And it's almost the perfect size to fit on the front of that frame. The only thing that was bigger is that roof line, but that's okay. I'm going to kind of keep that, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the bottom off and just start gluing this to the frame. The reason I chose this frame is because it was a little larger than any of the other houses that I found at the Dollar Tree, but I'm just going to glue that on the bottom. You could also do this on foam board if you didn't have something about the same size like this. And I'm going to go ahead and trim down the sides. Now, I really like the candy cane look of the roof, and it is too large, but that's okay. We can have that kind of pop out over the back of the frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut around that, leaving it on like that. Now I just need to kind of trim the sides a little bit, and most of it fits. So then I'm going to Mod Podge it down to the sides and the top of the roof. If I ever wanted to reuse this frame, it would be really easy to take this back apart, and the frame is still intact. Now, as you can see, the roof line kind of overhangs a little bit. It's got like a hanger, and you can stand it up, so that's super convenient. I'm going to hang mine a little bit higher on my coffee bar to give it a little bit of height. And it's really glossy because it was a gift bag, so I'm going to go over the top of all of it with some more of that matte Mod Podge to kind of take away some of that luster. And this was such a quick, easy little gingerbread house for my coffee bar, and it looks so cute with everything else. This would be really cute on a tier tray as well. And I have a lot of Christmas mugs that I've collected. This one is a Santa mug that I got at Target. Super cute, like classic Santa mug. And I thought it would be great to fill this with candy canes. I picked up these candy canes at Dollar Tree. You can use candy canes for your hot cocoa, your coffee, or just for a snack. And I think this is going to be perfect for my coffee bar. I like to use a lot of coffee mugs to decorate my coffee bar, so perfect. And then check out this cute little light up miniature house I got at the Dollar Tree. It's a gingerbread house. It lights up, and it is so cute and perfect size for a tier tray or a coffee bar like this. I don't have to do anything to it. It's just perfect. And this is another Santa coffee mug that I got at Target. This is like a little bit simpler design. It's not quite the classic Santa Claus. And then I found these great like gingerbread man mini spatulas at the Dollar Tree. I thought this would be a fun like gingerbread theme to have these displayed, and also using a Christmas coffee mug. Now I want to kind of sit them in there. They're kind of small though for that big mug, so I kind of want to fill that in a little bit so they'll stay in place. I'm just going to do that with like some paper, a paper bag to kind of fill up the space. And then I'm going to use some of those glitter vase filler. I got this at the party section of the Dollar Tree. It's like a white glittery snowball. And I thought that would be a perfect little Christmas touch and kind of make this look a little bit prettier. So we're just going to fill that up with those little balls, if I can get them to stay in there. Now check out this Dollar Tree find. This little gingerbread man warm wishes. It's like a little mini pie plate from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could decorate it a little bit. This size of the green foam piece fits in there almost perfectly. I didn't have a new one, but I have an old one, so we're just going to go ahead and reuse that. I don't really want you to see that green foam on top though, so I'm just going to cut a little piece of burlap to size. This is that burlap ribbon that I get at the at Walmart, and I'm just going to glue that to the top of it just to kind of hide that. Now it was sticking up slightly larger than the pie dish, so I'm going to trim it down a little bit because I want to decorate this. I kind of want to make it look like a dessert or something like that, like kind of a faux dessert. But I wanted to make it really easy as well. So the burlap works great because it's got little holes in it, so I can go ahead and decorate this. And I'm going to use some of these large berries that I found at the Dollar Tree. They're bright red, and they look like they kind of have snow on them. And I thought this really looked like something that might be a dessert or something like that. And the color is perfect. They have little wires on them. And I'm just going to start stabbing those down into the foam there. It doesn't take that entire length, so 2 are together. So I just started cutting them with my floral scissors from the Dollar Tree, and only with like 1 inch of wire on there, and that was fine just to kind of poke those down in there. And we're going to use the whole package and just kind of fill up the entire pie dish. And this was such a quick, easy way to fill it because I didn't know kind of what else to put in there besides kind of making it look like a dessert. And there it is, our little gingerbread man warm wishes, I guess, pie. Okay, our next DIY, I wanted to do a gingerbread candle. So I'm going to use one of these long red candles from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to simply take the plastic film off. Now you see a white fuzzy ornament there. I was going to use that kind of as a base like that and kind of decorate it, but I kind of decided I like just the candle, so I ended up not using that part. But I'm going to use some of these wall stickers from the Dollar Tree. They have several different kinds that have gingerbread man in them, and just peel and stick. Since they're wall stickers, they have like a white sticker background, so the color still pops when you put it on something bright red like this. And then I thought maybe some of that red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree would be really cute on there as well. I'm going to kind of go over this part at the top here where it's a little bit different colors of red and just simply glue that ribbon around. It's going to give me a fun little Christmas touch and very easy. That's basically all we're going to do for this DIY. We have a very easy, very inexpensive little gingerbread candle, and it's going to give me some height that I needed. Now, this is another Santa mug that I collected. This one is from Dollar Tree. And then I also got this fake candy from the toy section at Dollar Tree. But I really liked the red and white swirl colors. I thought that'd be perfect for like the gingerbread candy theme we got going on the coffee bar. And I thought I could just display it in this little Dollar Tree coffee mug. I'm going to fill it up with some more of that white base filler from the Dollar Tree. I didn't have quite enough to fill it up though. So we're just going to fill up the base with that plastic bag it came in. And you can use whatever you've got and fill it back up. And another easy DIY, if you wanted to do this for a tier tray or a coffee bar, just a cute little candy sucker and none of the mess of using like a real sucker. And that's how he looks. Another great mug for the coffee bar. And then I also have this Ray Dunn mug that I got at TJ Maxx. The thing I love about the Santa mug is it's got a little lid and it looks like a Santa hat. The colors are perfect, red and white, so we're going to use that as well. Now, this is the other wall sticker that I was talking about this one has 3 different gingerbread men in it. They're great size. I kind of want to do some like standalone gingerbread men, and I didn't really have anything, so I thought we could make something out of these. So my plan is to attach those to one of those chopping mats from the Dollar Tree to give it some rigidity so I can kind of put it on a stand and make some little standalone gingerbread men. And I thought this would definitely be an easy way to do it. So again, I'm using one of those clear cutting mats. You could also use the white ones from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to peel and stick those little gingerbread men on there. I picked these 2 out. There's also another one that's blue with Christmas lights. And I'm just going to simply cut these out. And it's going to get, the reason I used the mat is because it's so easy to cut this plastic. If I were to use wood or something like that, there's no way I'd be able to cut this out. And so just cutting all the way around with a pair of scissors. And it's going to give me these great little standalone pieces. Now I want them to stand up on my coffee bar, and so you'll see I have those little wood frames from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. I just kind of want to use the stands on those to make those stand up. The only issue is trying to get off the little frame on them. They're actually glued on and stapled on like fairly well. I had to use some pliers to pull out the staples and kind of break off the wood that was glued on there. They really didn't want these things to fall apart. But it's going to give me a great stand. I like to use these. I also like to use the wire ones that they have right now. Those are really hard to get the top off as well, though. And so I want them to be a bright red to kind of go with our theme. And so I'm just using some of that fire red acrylic paint, and we're just going to paint the stand. And then basically we're just going to attach the little gingerbread men to the front. And it's going to give us a great little, some pieces that I can kind of sit around the gingerbread houses and stuff like that on my coffee bar. And they're going to be super cute. So those are so easy to paint. Just one coat of acrylic definitely is enough. And then I'm just going to attach the little gingerbread men to the front of the stands with a little bit of hot glue, kind of at an angle, kind of like they're like frolicking or dancing around the coffee bar. And I'm going to do that with this guy as well. And a very quick, easy way to have a few gingerbread men for your coffee bar. They're so cute. Then I wanted a Christmas tree, so I got one of these little white bottle brush trees from the Dollar Tree. They have a lot of really cool different designs this year, and I'm not going to do anything with this. I like the wood stand. I like the white. I think it's going to go great with my red and white that I'm using on the coffee bar. And so this little guy is ready to go. It's going to give me a little bit of height too. This is another Ray Dunn mug that I have for my collection. This is the Red Mary one. I got this at TJ Maxx, and I love those. I thought we could make this one kind of into a planter. Bring a little greenery in. So I got some of this glittered eucalyptus at the Dollar Tree. You've seen I've used the white version on this on one of my other videos. This is the green version. It's a little long and extremely hard to cut the wire in there. The first one I cut off, but the second one I end up just folding because it is hard to get it off, even with the floral scissors. So I just fold that one. I just have a little piece of foam in there. It's kind of small though, so I'm going to use some of this reindeer moss from the Dollar Tree to fill up the open space around there and help that stand up straight. It's also going to add a little bit more greenery to it, and it's going to give me some height as well, as I love having a plant piece on my coffee bar. Then I'm going to use some of these little garland ties from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to kind of wind these around my coffee mug bar and around each shelf, just kind of as filler like I would on a tier tray, to give some greenery and make it look super festive. I'm also going to use two pieces to make a simple little pennant banner to go across the front of my coffee bar. I love to do that. And two of them is just about the right length for my coffee bar shelf. So I'm just going to wind them together and use that as my ribbon. I picked up these little gingerbread men stickers from the Dollar Tree. There's like two girl ones with bows and two with bow ties. And I usually like to do like an odd number on these, but there's actually 4. So to get around that, I'm going to use, this is a different kind of a red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut off little pieces of that. I'm going to do 5 of them, all the same length, and I'm just going to simply tie those on. It's going to give me a pop of red and white. It's going to look really cute. And that way I can have like an odd number of the 5 ribbons, and then we can have like 4 spaces in between, one for each one of the little gingerbread men. And just kind of spacing those out. And then I just need to attach these stickers to the front. I don't really want to use the sticker. I'm afraid that will fall off. So I'm just going to glue the sticker back with hot glue to it, to the greenery. And this was such an easy little banner for the front of my coffee bar, and it turned out so festive and cute. I love it. And I made these last year for my coffee bar. These are Dollar Tree red mugs. I bought 4 of them. And I just used white vinyl and my Cricut. I used the skinny font that I got on DeFont. And I made my own personalized Ray Dunn mugs using items from the Dollar Tree.
And that's it. Our little gingerbread bakery themed coffee bar is complete. Here is a little sneak peek for you. Give you a look around to show you how it turned out. It was really easy to put this together, and I just love the traditional feel of all of the red and the white, the candy and the cookies. very traditional Christmas theme, the gingerbread theme. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things to do for Christmas for sure. I'm going to be doing new gingerbread stuff this year, so stay tuned on my channel for that. I really hope you enjoyed all of these gingerbread Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs. I had such a fun time putting this video together. So much crafting inspiration. Let me know what was your favorite down in the comments below, or just come say hello. I love reading your comments. You can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. And this is my QR code if you would like to buy me a coffee. Enjoy the final reveal.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, we're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy saying ho ho ho. We're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Day. Oh, yeah. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as we walk from house to house to wish us.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's Christmas crafting marathon featuring gingerbread. And I also want to give a huge thank you to my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you so much to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Donna Tanner, Kim Rogers, Red Mama, Powell Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Ginny, Debbie Austin, and James Osborne. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member and get early ad-free access to my videos, all you have to do is hit the join button next to my video on either a phone or your computer, and you're going to get that early ad-free access, a badge next to your name when you comment down below, and a shout out in every video. We would also love to see what you've been crafting. Be sure to share your DIYs with us in the private Facebook group linked in the description of today's video. Now, would you like even more Christmas crafting inspiration? I've got you covered. Be sure to check out one of these DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Christmas.
All a Merry